Good afternoon. My name is Hannah Mostek, and I'm the founder of Something Borrowed Bridal Boutique. Something Borrowed is an affordable, sustainable, and emotional bridal shopping experience designed specifically for modern brides. Today, I'll walk you through the inspiration behind the business, the problem in the bridal industry, our solution, the market opportunity in the bridal industry, our growth strategy, our team, and what we're seeking to bring Something Borrowed to life. This isn't just a boutique idea, it's a business built on emotion, accessibility, sustainability, and legacy. Something Borrowed began as a lifelong mother daughter dream. My mom has wanted to own a bridal shop for as long as I can remember, and our dream of eventually owning one has always been something that connected us. We would drive around downtown Spokane or in Coeur d'Alene, pointing out cute little shops or quaint looking boutiques that we thought we could fill the space with our dream, but it was always just talk, never anything else. Growing up, I watched her work in marketing, leadership, and management, and I saw firsthand what it looks like to build something from the ground up. She truly has spent so much time in her position at her current place of employment, and she works so much more than she should have to. And as I started studying business and marketing myself, I realized her dream wasn't just emotional, it also made real business sense. We saw a clear gap between what modern brides want and what traditional bridal boutiques currently offer. And the moment turned a shared dream into a serious business vision. Weddings today are incredibly expensive. The average US wedding costs about $33,000. Even here in Montana, where most couples are making below the national average, they spend typically $20,000 to $22,000. And I've seen weddings where brides come into, like, I worked at Flathead Lake Lodge, and the weddings that they hosted there were $500,000. Like, it's absurd. And along with the absurdity of the cost of weddings, the wedding dress alone usually costs between $1,500 and $2,500. That's if you're looking for something relatively inexpensive, which is only like worn once and then stored away or never used again in most brides' cases. At the same time, modern couples care deeply about sustainability, intentional spending, and reducing waste. But the bridal industry has been slow to change. Brides are forced into an all or nothing decision, either pay a premium for a traditional bridal boutique experience or sacrifice the experience entirely and stay within the budget. Very similar to the choice between shopping in person and shopping online. It's nice to not be able to have to go into the store, but you always deal with the issue of, well, will it look good on me? Is there anything else in my size? Like things like that. And no bride should ever have to deal with that. And right now, the industry does not reflect how modern couples actually think about money, values, or long term impact. During research for our customer discovery, the same frustrations came up again and again. One being, it's too expensive for one day. This is brides talking about the wedding itself, the dress, and the overall experience. And even though it's something they want to have be extremely special and one of a kind, it's also just unrealistic to expect the average couple to spend that much. Another bride would say, or another set of brides would say, I want boutique quality without the financial stress. They want that experience of going into the boutique, finding a dress that feels like it was made for them, and having the audience there to fully to fully help them and persuade them into choosing the correct dress. Another phrase was, I want sustainable options I can actually trust. This is a huge trend we've seen in the last decade, maybe 20 years, of the average American looking for more sustainable options because they care about their carbon footprint and what their day to day life has an impact on the environment. And then finally, the last one that kind of wraps it all up into one short, simple phrase is, I'm overwhelmed by the cost of weddings. And as somebody who sees herself getting potentially married in the next half a decade, And being a broke college student, I resonate with this phrase so much. But what stood out most to me was kind of as I've said through this whole slide was that brides want the emotional experience, the atmosphere, the reaction, the memories, but the financial pressure takes away what should be a joyful occasion. And that's the last thing Something Borrowed wants. Which is why our solution is pretty simple when you think about it. Something Borrowed was created to solve it, as I have said. We offer curated, pre loved gowns for both purchase and rental, allowing brides to choose what fits their budgets and values. We also plan to carry a small select line of new designer pieces for brides who want something brand new. And on top of that, we will offer accessories like veils, shoes, and full style services. And what makes Something Borrowed different is that we are not removing the boutique experience. We're rebuilding it in a way that's accessible, emotional, and sustainable. The same three words you've probably heard 1 million times in the last 6 minutes. Brides will get the same magic without the financial guilt or waste, and it's something we believe is going to be huge. Which is why our market opportunity is also it's pretty short and sweet. The bridal market is large and still growing. The US wedding industry is valued at $70 billion, and the bridal dress market alone exceeds $13 billion, which I genuinely can't wrap my head around. And like it makes so much sense because so many brides put so much of their like livelihood into their one special day, or I guess I should say couples, not just brides, but it's obscene to spend that much money in my opinion. Bridal resale is also projected to grow 40% by 2028, as circular fashion is growing 9% annually. Searches for bridal dress rentals, not dresses, bridal dress rentals, I should say, are up 42% year over year. And these numbers signal a major shift in how brides think about ownership, value, and sustainability. Something Borrowed is sitting exactly where customer behavior is heading, which puts us at a huge competitive advantage. And to go along with our market opportunity, our target customers are Gen Z and millennial brides. Many of these couples, many of these brides and couples, I should say, are planning destination weddings, elopements, or last minute celebrations. They also have a tendency to just want to not spend as much as their parents did before them because, with the inflation rate and stuff, what parents spent on their weddings back in the day is still an obscene number when you equate it to what the current price would be today. But that's a whole different thing. And yeah, as I said, others are just simply choosing to spend their money differently. And these brides care about transparency, flexibility, and meaningful experiences. All things Something Borrowed is built around. Our go to market strategy has two phases. Phase one is a local launch in Missoula with a physical boutique storefront supported by social media marketing, community bridal events, and consignment partnerships. While we do not currently have a large number of gowns formally pledged, we have received strong interest from local brides who want to consign their dresses. This allows us to build inventory with much lower upfront cost. And as many of my friends get married in the next decade, which is kind of when Something Borrowed will hopefully start up for real and grow into what it is, um, we'll have more brides willing to consign their dresses and just entirely donate them to Something Borrowed for the benefit of the environment, their own personal sustainable impact, helping another bride have a special moment that's not too expensive, and things like that, which is really exciting. And I feel like Missoula is the place to do it because so many people here care so much about community and sustainability itself. And then phase two is much broader in a sense. It will be a regional expansion through online rental shipping across the Western US, allowing us to scale without carrying the overhead of multiple storefronts. And This hybrid approach keeps growth realistic, manageable, and financially responsible. And our end goal will be to have, depending on the state, 2 to 3 bridal shops that are something borrowed and take from donated dresses in the region, thrifted gowns in the region, and amongst other ways that we will have inventory given to us or bought. So it's very exciting to like have a go-to market strategy just because it feels so realistic. And then, as I've kind of talked throughout the entire presentation, our go to market strategy, or no, sorry, our competitive advantage, whoops, is basically that traditional boutiques offer emotion, but at very high prices, and online retailers are affordable, but they remove the emotional experience. Thrift stores are sustainable, but they are not curated. And basically, as I've said in the last 8 slides, something borrowed blends all three: a curated selection, the emotional boutique service, and sustainability by design, and accessible pricing. Um, we also maintain lower overhead and higher margin opportunity through rentals and resale. So basically, we have our foot in the door for an incredible business idea and eventually an incredible business startup once we get the funds. And even at the early stage, we've seen strong validation. I presented a short idea at, or not a short idea, a short elevator pitch at the University of Montana Grizz pitch competition. And after some brief questioning and voting, Something Borrowed took third place overall, which earned us a $750 reward for our idea alone. The other the other startups that won definitely had more of a business plan and even had actual inventory or products out in the world, and that's where Something Borrowed fell short. And I believe that's kind of where it will fall short for a little bit. But the idea is it's just so amazing that I see us going far. And even though it's just an idea, it's something that'll happen in the near future. So, uh, I should say more that through customer research, we have consistently confirmed the need for affordable and sustainable options, which also gives us a competitive advantage. And nationally, bridal trends continue to validate the demand for rental and resale. I've seen quite a few, not quite a few. The idea stemmed from an online platform that was similar to Something Borrowed, but I took it and made it my own. And then on the East Coast, I actually just saw a viral video of a gal like basically doing what Something Borrowed but with her own wants to do, but with her own twist. And I think our competitive advantage and traction will be that we're in this region and that it's something that we just haven't seen. Um, Time to move on. So, as I kind of said with the personal inspiration, my team for this idea, the founding team, is myself and my mom. I bring in leadership, branding, marketing, and operations through my business education here at the University of Montana, and my role as past president of Delta Gamma, where I manage teams, budgets, and large scale experiences like recruitment, philanthropy events, and much more. And my mom brings decades of experience in marketing, overhead management, leadership, and operations. She basically brings structure, strategy, and deep client service knowledge to the business. And together, our strengths will balance creativity, execution, and long term vision. Just skipping back ahead. Yeah. Basically, our startup costs are estimated at approximately $29,200, which is a lot. Our revenue streams include gown sales, rentals, consignment fees, accessories, and styling packages. And today, we are seeking between $25,000 and $40,000 to fund inventory, lease deposits, website development, marketing, professional photography for marketing, and legal and accounting setup. Our long term vision is to establish something borrowed as a Montana bridal staple, expand the rental model regionally, and build a lasting mother daughter legacy in sustainable bridal fashion. And I just want to say thank you. But yeah, thank you so much for your time and consideration. And even though this is online, if you are truly interested, I will I would be happy to answer any questions via my email. So, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.